Hey folks out here keeping the bees. It's the 14th of April, 2025. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana. Alright folks, I'm out here just checking around, doing my spring thing. Not going to be a major video on much, I hope. Well, it depends how many swarm cells I find, but really just showing you what's going on. So I grabbed the camera from right over the other side real quick because I wanted to show you this colony. Now, if you'll remember, this colony, I had to put them in a nuke at the end of February. They were so tiny. The first assessments we did, I don't remember what it was. I had to put fawning on them. They were light. And y'all said, hey, that's probably going to be a great colony, Mike. Just hang in there with it. Put it in the nuke. It was like 3 frames of bees. It was a tiny swarm from last year. I want to show you this thing. So it has been a while now. Don't get me wrong. They've had a month and a half to grow. But don't think this one won't be a production colony. Look at this. This is what got my attention. Yeah, a lot of bees. I see white wax in and around there. I see that. What really got my attention was this. Look at that. Look at that thing. That's a nice colony of bees right there. So I'd have to say they need another deep. It's crazy right now watching North Carolina, South Carolina, Panhandle of Florida putting honey in the boxes. We start about the same time in with the Carolina guys. Florida starts a little bit ahead of us, and yet if things are right, our flow will just now kind of be starting if we get that hedge bush flow. Otherwise, we still have till middle of May. So we start in February, but we don't get a main flow until middle of May. We get a residual. You've heard me over and over and over talk about it. But yeah, blackberries, things like that. And depending on how they come in, we can get some honey and pull in May. And our main flow we pull in July, and that's it. So yeah, we work bees a lot waiting for honey. And it goes back to the other video about peaking colonies. It is a task because you're working them so long. I guess you could really make a lot of increases down here. But my point is this one here, it's ready for a double. Here it is, the 14th. It's the middle of April, and they're good to go. They are they can get a deep, go through April all the way to the mid of May. Gives them time to really peak out into 2 boxes, and then boom, go on the supers with them. Put on the supers with them, off they go, and we make a box of honey. That's the ideal situation. That's why I do like coming out of winter with singles, because you can build them easier. Problem with single brood management down here is it's such a long season. It's hard. You really have to be in them so in depth. So I'm gonna put a brick on this standing up. I need to add to my notes actually, but I put a brick like that. It tells me to come back. But we go so long, and yeah, I could shake them down, because that's what single brood management is. It's not just putting a single and starting the super on top. It's getting that second deep full of bees, then shaking those down. That's ideal. And then putting an excluder in and using that second deep as your honey box as well, and letting them backfill that, and then she can operate out of that single. She'll sit there and support that colony from that one brood box, no problem. With that excluder, they fill, once that brood cleans out, they begin to fill it with nectar, but then the flow kind of shuts off. But we could do that. Like, I could shake a lot of these down probably, but see, I'd still have to wait. I really couldn't shake them down. I guess I could shake them down mid-April. It just depends what we get. If the hedge bush comes in, it's so inconsistent each year. So yeah, I could shake them down, put an excluder in, and then go into summer feeding, and then. But see, there's where we get in trouble with single brood management. Where you see a lot of northern guys do it, when their honey flow is over, they get their boxes treated, or if they don't treat, either way, then they can pour the feed to them during that bit of a dearth, and they already begin to cool down in September. Well, we still got 2 more months of heat and growth, because that's when our goldenrod rolls in and they get big again. So we could do it. It'd just be a lot of feeding, a lot of managing through the summer. And then with our wax moth issues down here, I would have to store like 40 to 50 deeps full of brood. I could do it. I mean, it's not, none of this is impossible, but it is a lot of work. But the flip side is, and our winters are short, so singles manage to winter fine. So, but they eat a lot of food in the winter here because they don't cluster. They fly a lot. It's trade-offs. It could be done. It'd be a lot of work. I choose not to do it. I kind of like to do it sometimes. I do use some singles to make honey off of them if everything is ideal and the conditions are right. If we were in the first week of May, that one there would get an excluder, and I'd put 3 supers on it. It would do it. But right now, I still got too long to go. So they have to build into a second box. It can be done, but it is a lot more work than the doubles and the storage part of it and all. So that if there's any questions why I don't do single brood, there you go. But I love coming out of winter with singles. They do so well. Just marked this queen blue. So I want to talk about the queens in these splits I did. This was the one. Showed you in another video. I've already been through it and already marked her. So I use a marking tube when I'm wearing gloves. If I'm working bees without gloves, then I don't need one. But for me, better safe than sorry. I worked so hard to have successful splits. I don't want to mess the queen up. What I did with this was marked her, but this is a split. We said 6 or so, 7 frames of bees last time. It's all the way across. The cluster really is centered over about 8 frames right now. Good solid cluster. And then residual bees on the outside. It's looking good. I marked her. She had a cell cup that I got. This was one of the cells I bought. And I want to tell you about the rate of queen mating, acceptance, mating flight. I don't know what you want to call it. Not really acceptance. I put in, so out of 9 queens, we got 8. Now, one of those I do believe came off emergency cells because she was late. Looked like she wasn't mated yet. But I looked through 8 that had cups in them one day and 7. So I've had 1 failure with the queen cells I put in. That's phenomenal for me. I usually have about a 70 to 80%. I think it was like a 95% take. 95% making queens. I'm so excited about that. So all these that had good bees dropped in a cell, they all made it. Made it, except for 1. And then I had some cells on my cell bar, and I had a bunch, so I dropped 2 cells in the one that didn't make it. Got to check her today. She probably is mated. We'll check her in a minute. It won't be a minute for me. It'll be in the next few hours, but it'll be a minute for you probably. But anyhow, so happy about that. Now, on the flip side, where I had a lot of success last year was introducing virgin queens. Man, that has been a flop for me this year. I've done it all different ways. I've waited till they were hopelessly queenless. 7 days in, I've waited till, which those may have taken yet. I haven't checked all them. I've waited. Some of those 7 days it didn't take. Some of them I waited a couple days. Some of them I caged and then let loose. Some of them I caged and then sprayed down with sugar water so they lick her and clean her off. And they did. They cleaned her off and then killed her. So I guess they did because they had emergency cells. So I had about a 10 to 20% take on virgins this year. I don't care for that. I'd rather have them before they come out of the cell and drop a cell in. But just this year, that was bad. But I'll take this any day because these are my production colonies. Where I put those virgins was mostly making nukes, things like that. So that wasn't the end of the world. There's 1 production colony I did it in. If she don't make it, I'm going to buy a queen this week. I got a line on a couple queens, mated queens. But I like the cells. So next year with more time, I'm hoping that I can time everything out and push my splits a little later and drop these queens in. But the bottom line is my goal was met with the first week of April having laying queens. That's great because now this one is like that one. I'm actually going to put a double on this one. I'm happy about that, guys. I just wanted to share my happiness with it and my disappointment with the unmated ones, the virgins. It happens. It is the way it is. Anyways, I walk up, I see this stand. I see 2 bricks standing straight up. And that was from last week. We went through this one. And last week what I did was I put that on as a signal to me, knowing I wasn't going to do it today, but that it's going to need super pretty quick. And that one, I only put 1 super on. I'm going to just try it. And then these 2 that don't have a lot of activity, this one is one of my new queens that made it. No, one of them. And one of them is the old queen. Oh, this is the old queen. This one had a super cedar cell in it, but there were eggs in it the next week. So sometimes those cells don't mean a lot. Sometimes they make them and tear them down. I've noticed that. And sometimes they just make queens. When it's a super procedure, everything is going along good. And I moved that queen. She was an older queen. I moved her from another colony, number 5 actually. I just move her over here. Everything's going on good. And all of a sudden there's a super procedure. I leave it alone. And again, this is not a how-to video. This is a how I do video. So don't follow my lead on this and then get mad at me when something happens. But I'm seeing pollen come in, and what happened with her, sometimes they'll just have a super procedure, and I let them take care of that. I figure I just write that one off and see how quickly they make a new one. And so when you see me not going through and inspecting these, if I know there's a queen right colony and it was queen right, you know, when I went through all the assessments and such, and it looks right and it's doing right, there could be, well, there could even be emergency cells if I hurt the queen going back in. But if there's a super procedure, I won't see it because I don't look through them. Well, I'm not gonna mess with it anyway. So sometimes it's just better left unknown. No news is good news, and let them go. And before you know it, they're making honey. You never knew they superseded until you go in and see, oh, I had marked this queen and she's no longer marked. And you knew they didn't swarm because they made you honey, so you know, it's kind of one of them deals. So yeah, I don't bust through them way deep. Even though the bees are nice today, it's a beautiful day, I just want to see if they're making cells, if they look normal, smell normal, bringing in stuff normal, crack the boxes, super them up, check the supers. And for your info, that's the first one we did in that other video I was going through, and they are starting to work up in the super a little bit. That's nice. They're putting some, very little. When I say little, like a little bit of nectar's going up there, but that's good. Because once some nectar's up there, it seems like that helps. Another thing I'm doing, and I'm not doing it quite to the extreme Bob Benny did it, but I remember his video, and somebody, forgive me, I don't remember who you were, I'm sorry. I see so many comments, but they reminded me of that video, and I had watched that, and my buddy Kenny does this, so I started doing it, and then that person reminded me of it, and I was like, yeah, that's like confirmation for me, good. Because Bob Benny did a video, he put some boxes on and such, he was removing boxes, adding supers, pulling nukes, things like that, and what he was doing with his supers was he was creating a space, and he said he honestly believes that creating that space, and he did it like this, he did something like that, and he said he honestly believes that helps them from swarming. And so what my buddy Kenny, he does this like I got with the stick, he at least cracks it, and we're kind of fearful of robbing a little bit sometimes because we do this early, but whatever, it brings the guard bees up top, and they guard this entrance, and maybe that's why. I don't know, but it seems to bring at least some bees up in here to have a reason to come up in here. Maybe to tell them, hey, they can yell back down at the other crowd. Hey, down there, there's some space up here. Y'all don't go nowhere, stay here. Mike needs you in here, not in the trees. Yeah, that's maybe that's what they're doing. I hope so, because I don't know what kind of cells I'm gonna find today. I just started. This is one we looked at, folks, that had a lot of bees in it. They were growing, they were a split. She's an older queen, very old queen actually. I think next year I am gonna tend to requeen. They seem to be better in all aspects. Of course, we know they really produce a lot better. I'm gonna stay at about 2 years old max, maybe, I don't know. I say that, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'd like to be able to keep newer queens. It seems they don't want to swarm as easy either. I like that part of it for sure. Let's see what this one looks like now. So a lot of bees still. They're building out all that comb. And for sale, I said I needed a box. Yeah, they've definitely spread out since our last video, but not a whole lot. About 2 frames on each side, maybe 1 frame. Little cups here and there, but nothing swarm worthy. But they're putting those cups in line, and when they start putting a bunch of them in, I start opening them up. And I'm just seeing if there's eggs, because there's times we see cups just start taking it for granted, but then there's times you open these little jokers, there'll be 1 egg and about 5 of them, and that's not good. It's time. And I say it's not good because it means now I gotta take the time to go through this whole thing, verify my queen is doing well, she's laying, see what her numbers are, and I'll knock them down, take some brood, and move on. That's what I'll do. I'll take some brood. So let's look inside and see what they've drawn, because they hadn't drawn much of nothing because it's just not a flow coming. Again, I wasn't concerned with them swarming. I really didn't think they needed more space. And they're really not filling out the frames. They're just, I don't know, it's just not much coming in. The privet is so sporadic. They just stopped building. They stopped bringing in. This was one where the queen was filling out the domes, not on this frame, but on the other ones. And she has some, there's definitely some, I don't have to mark this one, she's old. There's definitely some larvae in there. Oh, this is a brand new frame. This is the one they had started drawing. Let's see, I guess they are drawing comb. Look at this. Yeah, I'd say so. Look at that. Look at that, look at that. Yeah, they're drawing comb. I take that back. So this, if I flip it, that's 2 frames of bees when they emerge. So I gotta count those. There's another full one. 2.5 frames of bees. Some have already emerged. 4.5 frames. These are just bees now. These are, wow. She's gonna be backfilling in here. They're not backfilling nectar, so that's a good sign. That means they're ready to keep making bees. They're not ready to take off just yet. So right now I'm counting 4, there's the queen. There she is right there. So I'm counting 4.5 frames of bees being made. This one's starting to get a little nectar in it. So with these other 2 frames that are half frames, there's another 2 frames. So we're looking at 6.5 frames of bees right now, if I'm doing my math somewhat correctly. You know I'm terrible at that. Beautiful queen. Next frame is absolutely full. Look at this. Look at that. Huh? Tell me. It's 8.5 frames, and we don't even know what's in the bottom. She's and there's nectar going in around the brood. That's a great thing. So let's look at this new frame. I don't want to get too close to that frame. I don't want to hurt my queen. So I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 frames they are not drawing yet. They're not outside. Still got room to go outward, but they will go up and out of the hive regardless. They just started drawing this one, and this one is drawn and filling with nectar and pollen. So there you go. What we're going to do, we'll go ahead and move one of these in, even though the other side of this one isn't. They have room to move out, but that don't mean they will. That just means they're going to move one way or the other. Hopefully outward, but there's no guarantees. I'm going to pull this over. So our rough calculations tell us we're going to have a lot of bees in here. And with a flow that's kind of halfway coming in, are they peaked early? Maybe. Just watch the flow. This thing, I'm gonna put a super on it because we calculated at least 8 frames of bees just at the top. Of course, we're gonna have die off. Don't want to forget about that, you know, from flying. But we got to get some space on them. So if something starts rolling in, we're good. If it doesn't, we'll pull a nuke. So I'll show you this one in just a minute, folks. I'm back. I'm on the other side of the yard, but that was Queen Mania. But if you remember right, I dropped a frame with 2 of the cells left. I didn't pull them open, and I ended up shaking 1 virgin queen in here, possibly 2, but 1 for sure. I got 2 blue dots on there. This is the nuke I moved over. I left 4 frames in here, made this a kind of a mating nuke. Let the few field bees come back that had started with that 1 queen, because she hadn't been moved long before they swarmed. Like that was a swarm prevention that didn't prevent. So I got 2 dots, meaning I marked her. She's laying. Then over here, this colony here, I forgot to mark this, but here's what I'm gonna do with this one. This lid needs replacing. But blue, they made a queen. Blue, I marked her. This was the only one that was a wild card. There was a late virgin in here. I saw her. So I'm not so sure the cell that I placed in the splits took. I'm not so sure they didn't make one. But she sure did come out a lot pretty quick after that. So I don't know if she was just late. But that puts me at least at 95%. I'm so excited this year about that, of queens. Now this one, she just got 1 blue dot, but she's a split that made it. So excited. And laying good, in a second deep already. So gonna peak out good. Should we have a great tallow flow, we're gonna have several colonies that are gonna do well with that. Like as far as queen success this year, outside of introducing virgin queens, it's probably one of my best years. And I thank the Lord for that. It's wonderful. I'm so happy about that. And I do think, you know, I've had more time to really take my time and do things properly. But if we look on this frame, you won't see the back half here because it's all eggs. But what you can see is larvae, and she's just laying away. She's got the bottom full now. There are not tons of bees because, as you know, this is the one that swarmed. We recombined it with 2 weak population-wise colonies, but plenty of brood. So the brood is emerging. She is backfilling it absolutely beautifully. And what we're going to see is a nice colony that should, provided everything goes well now, everything's got to go well, we'll see a colony that will peak out for the tallow flow, which is our main flow. You know, provided we get it. It's agriculture. Again, this one you can't see it because the camera just doesn't pick it up as well. I will give my GoPro that. It does seem to do the eggs better. This is my Osmos 4. That's the deal with Queen Mania. We got a mating nuke. All those queens went to good homes. Some here, but I don't know how well they took. Kenny's is taking fine. He seems to be having good success with all of them. His way of releasing them. So they went to good homes. He took all but about four or five. And they're all in good homes. Hopefully most are mated by now. And these 2 colonies, booming. Well, this one's booming. The little nuke is a mating nuke, and she's doing good. I'm not a huge fan of marking them, but I want to start this year so I can keep up with my queens better. Because I am starting to see, and I knew this, it's not that I didn't know it, but I'm seeing it firsthand now. It's just easier to manage swarming with newer queens to an extent. And they just do so much better. Now, I've got a 2023 over there that's knocking it out of the park. I'm not going to pinch her. If she's blowing it up in the spring, I'm going to keep her. Even if I move her to a nuke and make another colony out of her and split her. But I do want to start kind of maintaining 2 no more than 3-year-old queens. And the 3-year-olds will probably be an exception. Hey there, folks. So I'm wrapping up the day. Went and got lunch. Went through more of these colonies. Hadn't found anything but maybe one. Was there one? Yeah, one with swarm cells. One. Yeah, I had one little cell. I don't even know if it was a swarm cell. I got rid of it. I don't think they swarmed because there's still plenty of bees there, and I didn't find the queen, but plenty of eggs still. So I don't know what that one cell was about. And then I found another one early on. Found the queen, knocked the cells down, made sure they had more space, and went through every frame, make sure it didn't have any cells. But I'm over here wrapping up, and I got my final one that I put cells in. Now, this was the only one that failed that I didn't get cells from my splits. So it is behind now, but look, let's take a look at it. I've already been through it. I'm not going to dig through it. What I am going to do is flip the entrance. So as I told you in the video, see, this is facing backwards. When they're in a line like this, I like to face the one with the new queen backwards. And like over here, right here, this line, what I did, the 3 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, those 2 on each side were flipped backwards. That one faced this way. That way, the queens had some space between entrances and some differences. That's why I do that. I learned that from a 50-year beekeeper. The year before I even started keeping bees, when I was studying up and my buddy had started back in Florida, and we went and talked to him, Uncle Mutt, he was showing us walk-away splits, and that reversed entrance has always stuck with me. Same with my screen bottom boards. It reorients. So what I got to do now is I'll come over here to this one, and I've got to flip it around. And let's look at it. Let's just look. And I put 2 cells. These were mine that I grafted because when I saw it didn't take, I had about 20 cells sitting in the builder. So I put one in with a protector and one without. Don't know which one, but they both came from the same queen. Every frame is full all the way out. So you got about 8 frames because the last ones are just really one side. There's an old beetle. So anyway, I went through and already saw eggs and I stopped. So obviously it's pretty simple. But let me show you what I do for the first week. It's flipped. Oh, if it'll... Golly, that thing is heavy. Man, and they're going to need a double pretty soon. All right, there we go. All right. Now, problem is, I still got a lot of bees that are used to this back. Here's what I do for about a week. Now, this is real technical. Don't let this confuse you. It's a pretty technical thing I do. But what I do is I pop this up, just like this. And I stick a stick in there. Look at there. And you know what that's going to do for them is they'll figure it out, and then I'm going to give them a little bit more room. They don't need a lot, just enough to get in. There we go. Come on in with your pollen. They're figuring it out. It's like, wait, this is different. Can we get in or can't we? Maybe we'll give them a little more room. So we got to search around, and we get the next size up. Oh, they're going in. Okay, they're figuring it out. That's all we want. Just a crack for them to go in and out. And we'll give them a week, and the front will be open. Newer bees will begin to go out the front. Still, there'll be plenty to use this. And then when I do shut it, yeah, there'll be a few left over, but it won't be astronomically crazy numbers, you know. Them drones don't like it though, do they? Give them a little bigger spot there. A little bit more. There we go. A little bit more. I kind of get them in. Them drones don't like it, but that's all right. But anyway, just stick a stick under there. But I'll leave it like that for a week, and then next week when I come through and check everybody, I will take care of it. All I'm doing is the same thing I was doing. Let's take a look. Same thing I showed you on that last video. So I'll take this. I got an excluder in this one. So I'll take this off. I'll set that off to the side. There's some bees in the super. Starting to fix the comb in there. These bees, the other day I looked in, they're actually putting a little bit of nectar in there. So then I'm looking at the top, and yeah, they're stovepiping, and that's fine because this was a split. That blackberry came in with a good spurt of nectar, and then it kind of shut down. These, they're drawing it all the way out to the edge. I'm not concerned with going in the bottom. If I'm not seeing cells on top, I'm probably not seeing them on bottom. Look at there. Polished up in the middle. Rainbow of nectar over the top. Full of larvae, baby larvae in there. Eggs near the top. Larvae near the bottom. Shoot. Drawing that side out. I mean, beautiful colony. Great queen. Newer queen. Last year's queen. Big difference. Yeah, let's show her off. See that beautiful white, pearly white larvae in the bottom, capping it all out. The next one's the same. Oh, goodness gracious. Just going to be a massive colony. So before I wrap up, what I wanted to tell you was that queen took off, and then I had to put a cell in the walkaway split we first did. And sure enough, this one we did on the first. I said, look, nobody's got cells. I don't have cells. We'll do a walkaway. They'll still be ready by the 1st of February if everything takes. Well, it didn't. Along with the one I just showed you, the little single, I put 2 cells in this one as well. Here's the cups, matter of fact. The protector in the other cup. And she's laying now. She's got 1 blue dot. All right, well, that's a wrap. I'm going to look through that last one. Everything's looking good, so all is well. Hey, it's another day in the bee yard. I appreciate all y'all watching. Appreciate all your support. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later.